Hello everyone, my name's Cliff and welcome back to my channel. This is Cliff's Dark Gems. Today I'm going to be talking about all the books I've read so far in the month of November. Stay tuned. Okay everyone, before we get going, before we begin, just like to talk about a couple of things. I finally managed to get this laminated, the Read What You Own challenge, where I can mark off all the books as I'm reading them. There's a nice A3 thing. It's going to go right over here on my left, and I can actually see how many books I need to go. So I've done a good start where I've knocked off 4 books already. Okay everyone, second of all, I'd just like to thank everyone that popped into the live feed the other night where I had a conversation with J.R. Carell, the author, and just apologise for the grainy, horrible quality of my side. It was in the evening, 6-7 o'clock, and we couldn't get the lighting to work, but still, it was an excellent conversation. We really chatted quite a bit about horror and shocking books and kind of disturbing fiction, and we had a lot of fun, so I hope you did too, and thanks for those people that popped in and said hello. Okay, and finally, before we start talking about the books, I posted on my community page and I said I was quite interested to make a once-off video about my previous life as a field guide in the African wilderness. I've got quite a bit of feedback saying that would be a cool idea, because I've got a lot of coffee table books about Africa, about the wildlife, about birding, and I just thought it would be a nice idea just once off to just talk about my former life. So let me know what you think on my community page. It would be great to hear from you. Of course, as I said, it'd probably be just a once off video depending on the response that I get, and I thought it would be a fun idea. Okay, now let's move towards the books. So I've read basically 4 books so far this month, one of them being quite long, and that sort of was the first book that went over into 6th, 7th, 8th of November, so I counted that towards my 100 book challenge. And that book is The Haunted Forest Tour. Now, I've spoken about this book already. It's an absolutely wild ride with lots of monsters, lots of blood and gore, some very, very creative kills. But I'm not going to talk too much about that book because, as I said, I've already spoken about that before. So yeah, that's A Haunted Forest Tour. Okay, the next books that I'm going to talk about from my least favourite to my favourite. First of all, let's start off with Full Circle by Peter Straub. Now, it's not that this was a bad book. It was a very slow burn. And when I say slow, I mean slow. But it was atmospheric, it was creepy, and it had some serious moments. You hear the birds in the background. I had some really good moments, but it was just dragging on a bit for me at times. And it's about this woman, I think her name is Julia, and in fact that's the other name of this novel. It's also called Julia, and she's just come out of a mental hospital. She's dealing with the loss of her child under very tragic circumstances. She's got a pretty messed up husband who's kind of abusive, not so much abusive, just very physical and very rough and prone to rage. And she buys a house on the spur of the moment, a house that is calling to her, mainly just to show that she's independent and to get away from her husband. She doesn't want the husband to find her, so that she can be on her own and deal with things on her own. Now, yeah, this is a creepy, haunting story, haunted house kind of story. Also involves a very, very creepy kid, kind of plays on the streets outside this property in London, and other creepy kids are involved as well. But as I said, there were some really good moments, there were some very chilling moments, but the whole story was just a little bit too drawn out, even for a novel that's under 250 pages, or about 250, 300 pages. It just seemed a little bit long, and I could have done without some of all the other detail that's put in here. And I know Peter Straub, when he wrote Ghost Story, it is also a difficult novel to get into. It is slow burn, But in my opinion, it is a far superior novel to this. And I'm going to be giving it a reread next month as part of a Patreon book read. So I'm looking forward to giving it another go as well. I think I gave it 5 stars when I was younger. And I would suggest, if you're going to look into Peter Straub, that you read Ghost Story and not Full Circle. Although there's a lot to love about this novel. But yeah, it just wasn't for me. Oh, and the ending was a big letdown for me as well. Without giving away any spoilers, yeah, I was just very disappointed at how the novel ended. So that is Full Circle by Peter Straub. Next up we have a 4-star read, and that is Tender is the Flesh by Augustina Bazterrica. Now this is a very disturbing dystopian novel set in a world where the flesh of animals has been contaminated by the virus, and it's now fatal to humans. And after a period of transition, now it is legal to eat human flesh. So cannibalism has become legal. And it's about this character, I think his name is Marcus, and he works in this slaughterhouse, or sort of this plant. Now you're not allowed to say words like slaughter and human when you refer to this meat. It is rather special meat, and the people are called heads. And basically this character Marcus tries his very best to be detached from what is going on in this processing plant, where the heads come in and then they're fully processed into, where not so much is wasted, and they're fully processed into special meat and other stuff. Now I must say it is a lot of this novel was quite nauseating, it was quite disturbing, but the thing is that it was very well written. It was very compelling, and you really get kind of immersed into this world and into this character's world. And when he's given a gift of a very special specimen, this female, can't call her a female, can't call her human, but he's given a special gift because he is quite high up in this whole processing thing, and he's told to do with her whatever he wants. Well, there are certain rules. You can't sleep with her, that's for sure. And basically it changes his life and it changes his world, because he starts to see her as a little bit more, he sees her as more human than he should be seeing her, and it changes the way his outlook on his job and on his life and on the world that he lives in. So yeah, it's not an easy read. It's not for everyone. There are parts where if you are weak of stomach, it is better not to read this novel. There are some parts that really made me cringe, made me feel kind of sick inside, but it is still a very powerful read. And as I said, it is very well written, and you do somehow get immersed into this world as well. So yeah, if you're up for it, Tender is the Flesh. Okay, and the next book I'm going to talk about was very nearly a 5-star for me, and that is Lost Souls by Poppy Z. Bright. Now, I just want to quickly, before I just talk to you about the book, I want to read what I wrote on Goodreads about this book. And I said this was wild, a bloody, brutal, intensely erotic tale of vampires. But there again, I'm just going to interject here. It's a hell of a lot more to do than just vampires. It's almost like a weird coming of age journey where all these characters have different journeys that intersect. So there's a lot more to it than just vampires. The writing is beautiful, it's evocative, and this probably would have been 5 stars if I had read it as a teen. It's very dark, it's very gothic. Just be warned. This is a messy book with lots of bodily fluids and gore and blood. When I say that, it's almost like Poppy Z. Bright when she came on the scene in the 90s as part of almost a splatterpunk, where it's really gone to crazy places these days. But like along with Clive Barker in the 80s and Poppy Z. Bright, they pushed the boundaries of horror. And this book is very bloody, and it is very sexually debauched. And yeah, it's not something for everyone. It's not at all something for everyone. It's full-blown horror and sex and gore and violence, but it is still beautifully written. It reminds me so much of Anne Rice, when she was writing Interview with the Vampire. Just gorgeous, just so lyrical. And yeah, this brought back memories of Anne Rice. I think the reason why I didn't give it 5 stars, I kind of gave it 4.5, rounded down to 4. It's just that I'm out of that kind of age in my teens with the whole gothic scene, and you kind of have to be there to really appreciate her writing and really appreciate the story, because the plot is also all over the place. It's just so fast-paced and action and just characters and blood and gore and violence. So the story is not where I think it could be. There are some very interesting story arcs, but there were just parts of it that just weren't perfection for me. But if you're a lover of crazy vampire tales, give this one a go. That is Lost Souls by Poppy C. Bright. Okay, the final book that I am busy with, and I should finish in the next hour or two, it's a short novella, and it's my first cryptid read, and that is Below by Laurel Hightower. This particular cryptid is a Mothman, and this is a terrifying novel, and this could very well be my first 5-star this month. I'm enjoying it that much. It is about a woman that is driving through the mountains of, I think it's West Virginia, which is associated with the Mothman. And it's basically stormy, or not so much stormy, but it's a lot of snow and in the mountains, and she's struggling. And she eventually ends up getting his help from this truck driver. She puts her trust in him, and a truck driver is in front of her, and he has an accident. He goes over this bridge and plummets down below, and then she has to make choices. Now, what I really am enjoying about this book, it's so fast-paced, and from the beginning it is tense, and this author just maintains that intensity and then just ramps it up. It's almost breathless. It's so exciting, and it's unpredictable. So no matter what's happening, you're not quite sure what is going to happen next. And in some places you just get so claustrophobic. Man, I can't talk much more about this novel. I've got to finish it. I'm going to finish it tonight. And then so on my next reading update, and on my next thing, I'll probably give a decent review. But yeah, that is Below by Laurel Hightower. I'm really enjoying it. I'm looking forward to finishing it in the next couple of hours. I think I'm going to pick it up just now. But yeah, that is Below by Laurel Hightower. Okay everyone, so that's my reading update for today. If the theme's a little bit gloomy with the camera, we've had a very couple of overcast days with heavy rain, black storm clouds. So hopefully this will come out alright. But yeah, I've had some good reading so far this month. I've got a lot of other shorter novels and shorter novellas to do. But yeah, it's been good so far. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Please be sure to like and subscribe if you enjoy my content. Take care of yourselves, keep those pages turning, and cheers.